Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I'm driving a 2008 Dodge Charger Police Edition. Up front is a 5.7 liter V8 and down below is a 5-speed automatic transmission. If you want to read more of my thoughts, head on over to carmarshal.com/overdrive. I'll be writing a complete article about the Dodge Charger. But let's get back to that 5.7 liter V8. Well, it's the Hemi that everyone has come to know and love. Like I said in my 2019 Dodge Durango Pursuit Edition review, this is a pretty solid engine. Dodge obviously has been using it for quite some time, as actually a modern Charger Police just passed us. They've been using this engine pretty much forever. It's a pretty solid, it's a work-through engine. It's a 5.7 liter V8, so it's not a small displacement V8 either. It certainly sounds great. It sounds good and it moves the car. That's huge. It's not sluggish. These were offered with 3.6 liter V6s as well, but it's not sluggish. It gets the job done. It works, and actually, interestingly enough, on these Pursuit Edition Chargers, they actually had cylinder deactivation all the way back in 2008, which I think is actually pretty impressive. Now, like I said, paired to it is that 5-speed automatic transmission, and that's actually shifted on the column. It's actually up in front of the steering wheel, not down on the center console. Although this car does have a center console, the Police Editions normally don't. The owner, Chris, has since added the center console just for drivability and daily ability. But that's normally where equipment, laptops, sirens, lights, controls, all that stuff normally goes in the center console, so it's easy to reach for the officers. But because of that, they put the shifter up on the column or behind the steering wheel. Interestingly, on the column shifter, you actually get a plus minus. It says auto stick on or off. You can actually plus minus on the column, which is interesting. Then last but not least about the drivetrain is the Charger is rear wheel drive. So let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 4 gauge pods. The center 2 pods are my tach on the right and my speedometer on the left. Then to the far left, you have fuel, and on the far right, you have coolant temperature. That's all that you actually get. There's no extra gauges. You have your warning lights, of course, but there's no extra fluff. There's no extra gauges in front of me. On the steering wheel, I have no buttons. There's actually a stalk behind the steering wheel for the cruise control, and that's where that's controlled. It's not actually on steering wheel. To the left, I have my light switches and, of course, your power window options on the door. To the right of me, I have 2 heating and air conditioning vents, a radio, which this is the stock radio, which actually looks pretty nice and it works pretty well. It does have an aux input, which is, I feel like, decently good for 2008. Then your heating and air conditioning controls. Then, like I said, the owner actually added a center console. This does normally not come in the Charger Pursuit, but like I said, Chris dailies this, so you need something there. Then, because it is a Pursuit vehicle as well, it has the red dome light. So you could also switch it to white, but there's the red dome light that all police vehicles have, which is a funny little touch. You can't really get away from the fact that this was a fleet vehicle. I think the thing that I didn't expect out of the Charger is the fact of just how really big it feels. And I think the way that they achieved this is, 1, it is a pretty big car, but 2, the windshield is so far away, I can't reach it with my arm fully extended. Mini Cooper does this. Mini Cooper pushes their windshields way far back or push their seats way far back so you can't reach the windshield, and it really makes you feel like the car is bigger than it is, and I think that's what's going on here. Because honestly, the Charger isn't that big of a vehicle. It's a big car. It's a big full-size sedan, of course, but it's not overly huge. It's not Cadillac long, but it feels a lot bigger than it is, and actually it's pretty comfortable. Now let's talk about the outside. I really do like the looks of this Charger. This was the Charger that I grew up with. In 2008, I was 11. And so growing up, coming of age, when you're 11, I was just starting to get into cars. This was the Dodge Charger that I knew. This was the Charger I grew up with. And a lot of people dispute that. They say, oh, it's a sin that the Charger is a 4-door. Maybe that's true, maybe it's not, but for me, this is what the Chargers were when I was growing up, when I was getting into cars. If you asked me what a Charger was, I would picture this. Even to this day, I would picture this 2008 year. And so to me, this is kind of cool. This was the beastly police car of when I was a kid. If you saw a Charger police car out on the road, you're like, oh, you know, like that thing could run up on Corvettes and Porsches. And you know, driving this, I'm not so sure that it can. It'll shout at them, but it's not the fastest thing in the world. But it doesn't matter because it kind of put that fear into people that it was fast. The Charger has always looked so mean and aggressive that it doesn't matter if it actually can beat a Corvette or Porsche. It has more bark than it has bite. And honestly, in an intimidating police world, that's kind of what matters. As you'll notice also, the steel wheels on the Charger, that is part of the police package as well. The Charger also got beefier suspension as a part of the police package, as well as some other little things. Like I mentioned earlier, it has that column shifter, red light, no center console, things like that. Now, contrary to popular belief, there actually is not a cop chip. This Charger is just as fast as any Charger. It's probably slightly quicker just because it has that beefier suspension, and so it doesn't squat as much when you floor it. But other than that, there is no insane cop tune on this or anything like that. The 5.7 sounds so good though. I mean, really, truly, it sounds so good. What I don't really like about this, and it's not really a comment on the Charger alone, it's sort of Dodge in general, is that driving this, they really haven't changed all that much in the last 11 years. The key fob is the same key fob as a 2013 Durango. The 5.7, we know they're still using 5.7s in 2019 models. Granted, I'm sure that they've tweaked something, but at its core, the 5.7 is a pretty old engine. It debuted in the pickup trucks, I believe in 2002 to 2003, when they switched from the second generation Ram to the third generation Ram. The 5.7 was there too. This doesn't feel dated, but this makes modern Dodges feel dated, if that makes sense. Because at this point, the 5.7 had only been around for what, 4 or 5 years maybe? So that's perfectly acceptable. Now, the biggest thing for me when this Charger was offered up to me, which thank you, Chris, for allowing me to do this, was that this finally completes the big names in muscle for the early 2000s for me. So I've driven a Corvette from the 2000s, a Challenger, now a Charger, a Camaro, and a Mustang. And I have to say, they're all pretty vastly different, but this is the only four-door name in muscle. And honestly, that appeals to me a lot. Yes, I love the Camaros, I love the Corvettes, but this has 4 full doors, and that's always been my biggest gripe with muscle cars. I recently did a 2018 Camaro ZL1, top of the line, 6.2 liter supercharged V8. The back seat was unbearably small. The Challenger had the best back seat out of anyone, but it still wasn't good. Getting into it, you have to do some form of acrobat. But this, you have the 4 full doors. It's a full sedan, but you get that big V8. So thank you, Chris, for allowing me to finish off my little bucket list of 2000s popular muscle cars. I know there's a Chevy SS I want to drive, and a Pontiac GTO or G8. I would like to drive those as well. But these are the big names. These are the most popular ones, in my opinion. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys learned something about the 2008 Dodge Charger Police Edition. If you want to read more of my thoughts, head on over to carmarshall.com/overdrive. But again, hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really like to. Take care, guys. There goes a sight from my soul.